et bienvenue à Make Easy French Lessons with Francisca. If you're a new person here, this is Francisca, your professional French teacher. Alright, so today we are going to look at French accent. Yes, French accent. So you may have noticed that whenever you see French letters or French words, you can see that there are some slash or some dots or some type of things on top of them, attached to them, especially something will be on top of it. Yes, it's either it's going this way or it's going that way. Yes, so today this is what we are going to look at, and you will get to know why they are there and how they are used whenever they are attached to a word, how it is supposed to be pronounced, and whenever they are not there, then how they are supposed to be pronounced. All right, so we have a few of accent in French, but today we are going to look at only 2 for this video, and then after this video, in my next video, we'll look at the rest of them. So now let's delve into the main topic for today. All right, so now we have accent aigu. That's the acute accent, which has a dash that goes from the left to the right, as you can see on the board. Yes, so this is accent aigu. So with this accent, it changes the sound of a word. When you find this sound in a word, it changes the sound. It makes the E so high. So this is how it is pronounced in French. When you see it attached to a word, is e. Très bien. So now let's put it in an example so you would know. So we have le, be, be. So that this particular accent is e. So you can see I'm saying le, be, be. Yes, e, le, be, be. Très bien. Yes. So whenever you see this accent attached to a word, it is having a high sound, which is e. Yes. Now let's look at another example. We have le marché. Le marché, which is the market. Le marché. You can see that at the end of it, at the end of the word marché, we have an E with that accent on top of it. Yes, we could have said le marché, but no, because of the accent attached to the E at the end of the word, we say le marché. Très bien. Yes. So yes, that is how this accent is used in French. It has a high sound and is pronounced as e. Yes. All right. So you can see that we also have this particular accent on le café. Le café, which means the coffee. Très bien. So you can see that the first side is high. The sound becomes high. If you hadn't seen this accent on it, it wouldn't have been le café. It would have definitely been le café or le café. Yes, it will not be le café. Très bien. All right. So you can go and check on different words that contain this type of accent. So you will get familiar with them and you make good use of them. Whenever you see this accent on top of an E attached to a word, it makes the sound different. It changes the sound. It makes it sound high. Yes. So let me repeat again and again and again that if you see an E with a slash on top of it, a dash on top of it, which goes from the left to the right, it is called accent aigu. That is the acute accent. The acute accent makes the E to be and then you can see some of the examples I have on the board, which is le bébé, le marché, le marché, le café. Très bien, très bien. All right, so you have to get familiar with them, so you're not, you will be able to, when you see a word that has this accent, you will be able to use them very well. All right, so let's go to the next accent. Let's go to the next accent and you get familiar with that one too. All right, now we have the accent graph. Accent graph. That is the grave accent. So the accent graph is written as, you see, it is different from the accent aigu because the slash on top of it is going the left hand side, while the accent aigu is going to the right hand side. It can be written on this E. It can also be written on A. It can also be written on U. Very bien. All right, so the accent graph is not only on E. The accent aigu is only written on an E, but the accent graph is written on an E, an A, and a U. Very bien. All right, so when this accent graph is written on an A, it does not change the sound of the A. It does not also change the sound of the U. They have same pronunciation and same sound. But when accent graph is written on an E, it turns the E to a sound. So when accent graph is on top of an E, it is pronounced, or it sounds as eh. Yes. Now let's look at some examples where we find accent graph in a word. For example, tra. So you can see this tra as, you can see there is an E in between the R and the S, whereby we have an accent graph on it. Yes, it is pronounced as tra. You can hear the sound of this sound in between. Yes. Now let's look at frère, which is brother. Brother. And we have frère. And then in between the two R's, we have an E which contains an accent graph. Yes, so it is pronounced as frère. The E in between the R's tends to be this sound, a sound. Yes. Now let's look at another example. We have père, that's father. We have mère, that's, yes, we have mother. Yes. Now you can see very well that when you omit, or when you take out the accent, it will not be pronounced as père, non, mère. No, it will have a different pronunciation. So the accent sounds very different when you add accent there. So they have uses and importance. They are very useful. When you omit an accent in a word, its pronunciation also changes. So be very careful whenever you are, writing your essays. You have to be very careful with the accents. Très bien. Now let's look at when we have an accent on an A. When we have an accent on an A, it becomes at, in, or to. it could be at, it could be in, or it could be to. For example, ele va à l'école. You've seen the A here, which has an accent graph on it. Il va à l'école, it means he goes to school. So it means the A here with accent graph is making it to. All right, let's look at another example. Nous sommes à Cape Coast. Nous sommes à Cape Coast. That means we are in Cape Coast. And here the A with accent graph becomes in. Always see that we have A's that do not have accent. You would be wondering whether their pronunciation will still be the same or not. Yes, their pronunciation is still the same thing as a, but it means different thing. So when you have an A without an accent, it becomes have or has. It becomes a possessive pronoun. So now let's look at example. Il a deux stylos. Il a deux stylos. That means he has two pens. He has two pens. So the A here without an accent becomes has. It becomes what? Has. Yes. So you can put some trials on the inside the comment section, so I will see whether you are making progress or you are not making progress. I want to see some examples using the A with accent, A without accent, E with an accent. Yes, so that I will see whether you are making progress or not. Let's look at you. So when you have OU with an accent, it becomes where. When you have OU without an accent, it becomes or. So the accent, as I said, are very, very important. When you omit them, you are saying something else. When you omit an accent, it means you are saying a different word altogether. Because now you've seen that OU with an accent graph is giving you where, whilst OU without an accent graph is giving you or. So yes, now you can, let's use it form sentence. Où est mon portable? Où est mon portable? Where is my phone? Now let's use the or to form sentence. So I've given you a task to use or to form a sentence in the comment section, so that I will see whether you are making progress or you are not making progress, so that other people can correct you. All right, so we have come to the end of today's lesson. We have more accent to deal with, but today in this lesson we are only looking at accent aigu and accent graph. Très bien. So in my next lesson, you will learn the other accent we have in French. Please, if you have enjoyed this lesson, give me a thumbs up. If you have not also subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly do so, because we have a lot of French lessons to learn, a lot of things in French that you need to know. So subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll not be left out in any of my lessons. Thank you. Au revoir.